The war between the United States, Israel and Iran has now entered its second month. 4 to 5 weeks was the initial timeline of this war. We are in week 5. Over the past several weeks, US and Israeli forces have carried out extensive strikes on Iranian military infrastructure, targeting missile systems, their launch sites, and even Iranian production facilities of missiles and drones. Now, US President Donald Trump, in his latest Truth Social post, has said many long sought-after targets have now been taken out and destroyed by our great military, the finest and the most lethal in the world. That's what Donald Trump said in his latest post. Now, according to Israeli Defense Forces and the US CENTCOM, Central Command, and satellite imagery, the mountain complex near Kohistan Park, that's here, this is in Yazd, it has been targeted 5 times since the beginning of this war on the 28th of February. And despite these strikes, and those strikes include strikes which were as recent as a few days ago on the 27th and 28th of March, the site remains largely active and highly active even now. Also, facilities in Shiraz, Isfahan and Bushehr, these have also been targeted. They've also been hit. Now, 4 of Iran's most important sites, we'll have them on the map for you, and they make fuel for ballistic missiles, which Iran has largely used in this war so far. Reports said that they have suffered severe damage in attacks. The sites are Khojir, Parchin, Hakimiye and Shahrud, more towards the northern side. Now, these are all in the center of Iran, so the entire length and breadth of the country has been targeted. Shahrud military complexes, house of production of critical missile propellants and assemble the weapons for use. All of that happens in these sites which have been targeted by the US and Israeli forces. Other missile and drone sites hit include Karaj, that's Semnan, Baghdasht, Ehvaz and Urmia up in the north. Now, along with that, as per reports, Iran entered the war with approximately 2,500 medium and short-range ballistic missiles. These were the initial numbers which were estimated as per reports. And since the start of the war, Iran has fired 400 medium-range ballistic missiles towards Israel and more than 3 times that number towards the Gulf states. That's 1,250 short-range ballistic missiles towards the Gulf nations. Also, Iran entered the war with approximately 470 to about 480 ballistic missile launchers. And as per the Israeli Defense Forces, Israel and US have managed to destroy or somewhat disable about 330 of Iran's estimated 470 ballistic missile launchers. US can only determine with certainty that it has destroyed about 1/3 of Iran's vast missile arsenal. So 1/3 has been destroyed. That is what the US is ready to confirm. The US military has also said that the number of attacks that Iran has launched has progressively declined as the weeks have increased into this war by roughly 90% from the opening days of the war. However, attacks, they still continue, and we're seeing that. On Monday, Iranian missiles and drones were seen flying over Jerusalem and the occupied West Bank. Most recently, there has been a strike in Kuwait. Saudi Arabia was also struck recently. Iranian missiles were launched, as I mentioned, at Kuwait and Saudi Arabia. And there are more reports coming in of missiles being targeted towards Israel as well. So the war continues, but Israel and US continue to maintain that they are largely diminishing military capabilities of Iran.